What's going on, YouTube? It's your dude Heath Ledger. Today I want to bring you guys a very special comparison of the Converse All-Star 1 versus the Converse All-Star 2 and the latest Converse All-Star Modern. But before I get into that, I want to go ahead and show you guys the packaging of all three of these shoes. So let's go on over here and check it out. Alright guys, so I want to show you the packaging for all three of these shoes. I am doing this by hand, so please bear with me. This is, of course, the standard Converse All-Star 1 or original Converse packaging. It's very slim, it's very sleek. We've been, accustomed to this sort of packaging for several years, and this is a size 10.5. As always, they usually fit half a size big, but with the Converse All-Star 2, what I realized is that you should go true to size. So I am a true size 11, sometimes 11.5, and they opted with a much bigger box, obviously. Chuck Taylor All-Star 2, and then spare laces. And lastly, this is probably the most interesting, the Converse Modern Box, all white, very little branding on the box itself. And it's incredibly big. As you can see, in comparison, it just seems like they get bigger and bigger. This is huge, and the materials are very, very heavy. That's going to be the first thing that I would mention. Sorry guys, I had to put the camera down because I couldn't open this box with one hand. I also wanted to note that I did receive this before the Converse Modern officially released, so I'm not 100% sure that this is the same packaging. I imagine it is, but just so you guys know, in case maybe your pair looks a little different, the packaging on this is easily the most impressive of the three. Alright you guys, now back to the shoes. I do want to note that I will be primarily focusing on the Converse Modern as this is the latest release. But I will be outlining the differences between the three so that you're most informed prior to making a decision to potentially buy one of these shoes. Alright, so the first thing I'll talk about is the Converse All-Star 1. Classic all canvas upper. You have the chunky rubber midsole, branding on the heel, and of course the branding on the inside of the shoe as well. Alright, now this is where it gets a little interesting. So a year ago, Converse introduced the All-Star 2. The upper was a much higher quality padded canvas. They kept the chunky rubber midsole, but they did remove some of the colors. Kept the branding on the heel, and of course the iconic patch, but what's different is this is now sewn on. They also opted with a no-slip tongue, which was a huge improvement on the one. And lastly, in terms of comfort, they added the Nike Lunarlon insole, which is way more comfortable than what Converse originally had in the All-Star 1. I basically like to think of this as a much more luxurious and upgraded version of the original. And now we're here with the Converse All-Star Modern. The Converse All-Star Modern is the newest weapon in the Converse arsenal. Now at first glance, they've kept the same silhouette, but there are a ton of new changes on this shoe. This version is the knit version, so the entire upper is of course a breathable knit. You have TPU overlays on the toe and a neoprene split tongue. What I also liked were some of the details, including the embossed heel tab, the Phylon outsole, and of course the Converse branding on the inside of the shoe. First thing you're going to feel when you pick this shoe up is how lightweight it is. Now these two shoes weigh about the same, but in comparing these two, the Converse Modern is probably half the weight of either of these. I've worn these 3 times since I got them about a week and a half ago, and the next thing I'm going to note is the comfort. Now while this isn't a Lunarlon branded insole, it does look and feel the exact same as the insole in the Converse 2. I'm not entirely sure if it is the same insole, so don't quote me on that. Another note was breathability. This is much more breathable than the other 2 previous models, and trust me when I say this, I wear my Converse 2s a lot. What's very important to note is that Converse doesn't want you to think they're replacing the previous models with the Converse Modern. Think of the Converse All-Star Modern as something in addition to the already iconic Converse 1 and now Converse 2. This is certainly a much more premium sneaker with the upgraded materials and Nike technology. And there's also an HTM luxury model, which is much harder to obtain with the goat skin leather on the upper, replacing the knit. If you guys didn't know, these dropped on June 16th worldwide, so hopefully you guys got your pair as well. Now let's get to some of my thoughts on the sneaker. I certainly see these as progressions, upgrades, which is great. I love this shoe so far. I've only worn it a handful of times, but in terms of comfort, I like it better than the Allstar 2. I like it much more than the Allstar 1. It's much more lightweight than the previous two models, which I really appreciate. I don't like heavy shoes. I don't know anyone that does. And typically my feet are very sore from sports the night before, so when I'm going into work, I want something that's lightweight and comfortable. But I do want to note what I don't like about this shoe. The Converse Allstar 2 tongue was a great upgrade from the first, and I love this tongue. But they changed the tongue again from the 2 to the Modern with this neoprene material. And while this is much more comfortable than this, I realized as I was wearing this, the tongue would slip, it would get all bunched up, and it feels very flimsy. Whereas with the Converse 2, this is very stiff, it stays exactly where I want it, and that's one quality of this shoe that I like over this. With that said, I think all three of these have different purposes. I mean, the Converse Allstar 1 is an iconic shoe. You're not going to ever replace this. When people think Chucks, they think this shoe. They do not think this shoe just yet. And while this is a great upgrade from this, some people just want that classic canvas upper that maybe they wore as a kid, a teenager, as they grew up. They want to relive some of that nostalgia. The 2 is great if you want that upgrade from the 1, you want those better materials. I love this shoe personally, and I would definitely wear it over this. And in terms of the Modern, if you have the extra money and you want to put it towards the same silhouette with much more upgraded materials, this is certainly the shoe for you. Sorry guys, the last thing I want to mention is sizing. The Converse Allstar 1 fit big, so I always size down a half size. I'm a true size 11. I wear these in a 10.5. The Converse Allstar 2 fit true to size. I'm a size 11. I wear a size 11 in the Allstar 2. The Converse Modern, in my opinion, fits small, so I actually have to size up. I'm a size 11. These are a size 11. Next time I would get a size 11.5. To prove that, I want to show you guys these two shoes. Alright, so the Allstar 2 is on the top, obviously. The Converse Allstar Modern on the bottom. These two are matched up. And then if you do this, this is where they meet. This is a size 11 on both shoes. And as you can see, the Modern runs a little short. Again, it's not by much, but if you are like me, I'm in between a size 11 and an 11.5. So that little extra amount really matters a lot to me. I would personally size up a half size. So that's it guys, a really quick 3-part comparison of the Converse Allstar 1, the Converse Allstar 2, and the Converse Allstar Modern. If I forgot to cover anything or you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Before I finish, if you're still watching, hit this video with a thumbs up and definitely hit that subscribe button if you want to keep watching cool sneaker content like this. I'm gonna do Heat sign out. Peace.